If you've ever faced a season where life made absolutely no sense, where the doors you prayed for stayed closed, where the people you trusted walked away, where the job didn't come through, the healing didn't happen, the plan fell apart, this message is for you. Because the hardest part about faith is trusting God when the path is dark, when the answers don't come, and when the blessing seems delayed. But that's exactly when God does his greatest work. Let's talk about how to trust God, especially when life makes no sense. You know, we live in a world that tells us everything should make sense. We want answers, explanations, step-by-step instructions. But the truth is life, especially a life of faith, doesn't always come with a manual. Sometimes God will allow you to walk through situations that leave you speechless. Sometimes you'll face storms that have no logical explanation. One of the hardest lessons God will teach you is the art of surrender. You see, most of us want control. We want to plan the outcome, we want to direct the story, we want to predict the next chapter. But control is an illusion. Real faith begins where your control ends. Think about Abraham. God told him, "Go to the land I will show you." Not, "Here's a map." Not, "Here's step 1 through 10." Just, go. That's trust. Sometimes God will withhold the details, not to punish you, but to develop you. Because if you could see the whole plan, you wouldn't need faith. Trusting God isn't about ignoring your pain. It's about believing that your pain has purpose. Joseph sat in a prison for years after being betrayed by his own family. He probably asked the same question you've asked. God, where are you? Why me? Why now? But when the time was right, God elevated him to a place of influence and power, and Joseph understood the reason for the delay. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. When life makes no sense, you have to anchor yourself to God's character, not your circumstances. Circumstances change. Seasons shift. But God is constant. He is faithful, even when life feels unfair. He is present, even when you feel alone. He is sovereign, even when you don't understand. The key is to stop leaning on your own understanding, because your mind will try to make sense of things that only God can explain. Sometimes the waiting is the real test of faith. We want instant answers, instant relief. But God isn't in a rush, because He's more concerned with your growth than your comfort. In the waiting, your faith gets muscles. In the waiting, your dependence on God deepens. In the waiting, you learn to pray not for a quick fix, but for the strength to endure. And when the answer finally comes, when the breakthrough arrives, it won't just bless you, it'll bless everyone connected to you. The waiting isn't wasted. It's preparation. When life makes no sense, fear will try to move in. But fear and faith can't share the same room. Every time fear whispers, "It's over," faith declares, "God is still working." Every time fear says, "You've lost everything," faith says, "God's grace is sufficient." Faith is not about pretending you're okay. Faith is about choosing to believe that God is still in control, even when everything else says otherwise. And you can trust Him even when life makes no sense. Because the same God who brought you through your last storm is the same God standing with you now. His promises don't expire. His love doesn't run dry. So even if you can't see the way forward, keep walking by faith. Even if the plan is unclear, trust the one who wrote your story before you were even born. Your life is in His hands, and that's the safest place it could ever be. When God allows breaking in your life, it's not to destroy you, it's to reshape you. It's to strip away pride, self-reliance, false identity, and comfort zones. Look at the life of Joseph. God gave Joseph a dream, a glimpse of greatness. But before the dream became reality, Joseph was thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. Why? Because God had to break him before He could elevate him. The pit wasn't the end. The prison wasn't the end. The breaking was the classroom. The palace was the graduation. Even Jesus showed us this principle. In the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus took 5 loaves and 2 fish. But before the miracle happened, before the bread fed the multitudes, Scripture says, He blessed it, He broke it, and then He multiplied it. Blessed, broken, then multiplied. Some of you are in the breaking stage right now, and it hurts. But what you don't realize is, breaking always comes before multiplying. God can't elevate what hasn't been broken. Because if He elevates you before you're ready, the blessing will crush you instead of bless you. Brokenness teaches us humility. You can't carry God's blessing with pride in your heart. You can't walk in your calling and still rely on your own strength. You can't lead others until you've learned how to kneel. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Sometimes God has to let you reach the end of yourself so you can finally rely on Him. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. It's surrendering to the fact that without God, you can't do it. Brokenness makes you teachable, and humility makes you usable. God is more concerned about your character than your comfort. Before David became king, he was broken on the battlefield, rejected by his own family, and hunted by Saul. But God was using the wilderness to prepare him for the throne. Because it's one thing to be gifted, and another to be ready. It's one thing to have the calling, and another to carry the responsibility. The breaking seasons refine your heart, sharpen your focus, and anchor your soul in God. So when the elevation comes, your foundation is strong enough to hold the blessing. I want to remind you, your breaking season is not forever. Psalm 30 verse 5 says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." God is not trying to break you for life. He's breaking you for the blessing. Sometimes the breaking feels like delay. Sometimes it feels like denial. But it's neither. It's divine preparation. Because when the elevation comes, the world will see your gift, but you'll know it was the breaking that qualified you. God doesn't break you to leave you shattered. He breaks you to build you stronger. Think about gold. Before it shines, it's refined by fire. Think about diamonds. Before they sparkle, they endure pressure deep beneath the earth. And you, child of God, are no different. The hands that allow the breaking are the same hands that will piece you back together, stronger, wiser, and more anointed than ever before. The same God who allowed the breaking is preparing the elevation. Your pain has purpose. Your tears are seeds. Your breaking is not the end of your story. It's the birthplace of your testimony. Because before God elevates you, He will shape you. Before He shapes you, He will break the pieces that don't fit your future. And when it's all said and done, you won't just rise higher, you'll rise stronger. Today, I want to speak directly to the hearts that are hurting. The ones carrying wounds nobody sees. The ones smiling on the outside, but fighting silent battles every single day. I know pain. I know the deep questions that pain brings. God, why me? Why this? Why now? But I want to tell you something that the enemy doesn't want you to know. Your pain is not pointless. Your pain has a purpose. It may not feel like it. It may not make sense yet. But if you stay with me today, I believe this conversation will shift the way you carry the hurt, and it will show you the hand of God in the middle of your suffering. I used to believe that following God meant a life free from trouble. But the truth is, faith doesn't prevent pain. It gives you power to endure it. Jesus Himself said in John 16 verse 33, "In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world." Pain is part of the process, not the punishment. It shapes us. It humbles us. It awakens us. And most importantly, it draws us closer to God. Pain teaches perseverance. It strips away pride. It reminds us that this life is temporary, but God's promises are eternal. When everything is going well, it's easy to forget our need for God. But suffering brings us to our knees. It creates a space where God can meet us in the rawness of our humanity. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. When you feel your weakest, God is actually the closest. Every person who's ever done something meaningful for God has walked through deep pain. Moses faced rejection. Joseph was betrayed. David hid in caves. Jesus carried the cross. Pain produces compassion. It gives you a story. It makes you strong enough to handle your assignment. Romans 8 verse 18 says, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." Your pain isn't the end of the story. It's the preparation for your calling. The deepest kind of trust is when you say, "God, I don't understand, but I still believe." That kind of trust moves mountains. That kind of trust opens doors. That kind of trust brings peace in the middle of storms. Your pain is not your identity. Your pain is not your destiny. Your pain is your testimony. The very thing the enemy meant to break you, God will use to build you. So hold on. Don't let go. Even if all you can do is whisper His name, even if all you have is one more step in you, take it. Because God isn't finished. and the purpose He has for your pain will become clear in His perfect timing. We are all trying to be the best versions of ourselves, and I want to show you the changes that can be made in this world. Change that will have ripple effects and encourage people to see the beauty in life. To help me, help others in the most amazing ways I can. I have a store linked in the description where you can buy things for yourself, or what I would encourage is to buy a gift for someone else. Show the people in your life that you care and have their best interests at heart. Also, for the best contributions at the moment to the channel on helping and changing lives, is to donate to our GoFundMe linked in the description. No matter how far we go, the change will be felt. I'm here giving you a first-person perspective of the power of change for the better. God is within us all, and I want to bring the power to you the best way I can.